Rest in peace, Nintendo Switch 2, as this guy has bought every single Nintendo Switch 2 sent to the United States. No, this is a fake AI picture going around saying that scalpers are winning. Look at this scalper. That must have been every Nintendo Switch 2 sent to the United States. This is a fake picture, guys. Don't fall for this.
Hello everyone, this is Magbo Gaming here, back at Angry Guys channel. Be sure to check out the Angry Crypto Academy if you guys want to learn how to invest in crypto and know which crypto will be very recommended for you to invest. And yeah, check out his Rumble as well in the description below, where you can see him cussing like a sailor and having freedom of speech. Anyways, now that we got those out of the way, we are going to do a commentary. Yep. A literal commentary on scalpers failing to make much money on a Nintendo Switch 2, which causes the sales to dump, I guess you could say. Not only that, a lot of scalpers are also returning the Nintendo Switch 2 to the stores. Yeah, apparently maybe there's some scalpers that thought that they could make extra money on it, but they say, well, we're not making much out of it. I think we're gonna have to move on to something else. So they ship a bunch of them little by little over to their local Best Buy, Target, GameStop, Walmart, or whatever, and return them. And they get their money there right back because, you know, I guess a lot of scalpers bought it within the 30-day window. Within the 30-day window, you could return it with the receipt, any stores that you got it from, and you could get your money back into your account pretty much. So that is something to keep an eye on. Of course, a lot of people are also returning Switch 2s because they got bricked as well. Yep. And they just put everything back in its box and everything. They allow the return policy for 30 days. And then they resell that same Switch that they return, even if it's bricked or not, because they don't even bother checking. And then say, okay, yeah, we got some open box Switch 2s for sale. You want to get it? And like, don't buy it used, man. Do not buy it used, man. Just don't. Anyways, let's commentate on this video. This video comes from the YouTuber Zayarick Gaming. I hope I said it right. Zayarick Gaming. Yeah, so let's see what this guy has to say about the Switch 2 scalpers gave up on it, pretty much.
Alright folks, this is Zirk and welcome you beautiful, highly intelligent, honorable viewers who are pressing that like button right now. And also, welcome to everyone who thinks the Switch 2 was selling out because, you know, it's just the best console ever. Let's begin. Guess what? The Nintendo Switch 2 is in stock everywhere online, and it has been for days for some reason. Why is that? That's so weird. Could it be that scalpers are no longer making money off the Switch 2? That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, scalpers like, well, we're not making money on the Switch 2. Why bother? We're gonna move on to something else. And without the scalpers being interfering with the supply of Switch 2, well, they decided, yeah, let the other guys buy the Switch 2. I can't take any more. We're not making money out of this, so yeah.
And I know this looks like they're making money, right? $450 console, $600. Surely they're making money. Well, not really. I did the math here, so you don't have to. And I'm not doing the math a second time, so I'm just giving you what I posted in the Discord when I did all the math, all right? First off, I averaged the average sell cost at $600. That's not true. There's tons of them that sell for much less than $600. And when I went ahead and later on autistically decided that, you know what, I am going to manually check the average of every single one sold in the past on all these right here. And what I came up with was $552. So on average, they're selling them for $552. And you're still like, maybe, well, that means they're making lots of money, right? They're making about $100. No, they're not. Because remember, they had to pay sales tax. Right there, that's about $485. Well, guess what? eBay takes fees. That's another $80 because eBay takes about 13% of whatever you sell for. So if they sell it for
Oh, so they take 13%. I thought it was 12%. When I started selling on eBay, they usually take 10% for every sales I make. So it's crazy, right? If the average is $552, you minus the 79, and how much are you making back? No profit whatsoever, because after sales fee and eBay cuts and all that stuff, it's not profitable anymore. So scalpers like, Yeah, even if we're selling it for $550 to $600 compared to the Switch 2 being sold at $450 in retail stores, you're gonna actually be paying $485. You paid $485, right? And then you sell that thing for $552. That's the average, right? Then you minus the fees from eBay, and yeah, you're pretty much breaking even, aren't you? So it's pretty much a waste of time for scalpers to be selling Switch 2s online.
$100. eBay takes $80. The government takes $36. And if they decide not to pay taxes, by the way, I'm just assuming because they're scalpers, they're also not going to pay taxes. But if they decide to not pay taxes to the government for selling this product, that means that they're only making $20 if they don't charge for shipping. If they charge,
You always charge for shipping. Always. You cannot afford to put free shipping unless you do combined shipping. When I mean by combined shipping, you put the price of the product plus the shipping all in one, and then you put it free shipping. But no, free shipping? Especially with how expensive it is to ship items these days. With the price hike of USPS Ground, whenever I sell any video games online, I have to pay, instead of like $6 now, I have to pay over $8.70 something cents. That is a 25% increase right there. So you have to. Otherwise, you are going to lose profit. You are going to pretty much sell at a loss, and nobody should be selling at a loss, because what's the point? You resell stuff so you can make profit, so you can make money. If you are breaking even or you're selling at a loss, then you're wasting your time, honestly. But yeah, only $20 that a scalper is making for all that effort. It's not worth the effort for me, that's for sure. It's sure not worth the effort.
for shipping, they're making about $35, and that's if they sell it for $600. The thing is that most of them, the average is $552, which means they're taking a loss. That is right. That means that scalpers are officially, on average, taking a loss when it comes to selling Nintendo Switch 2s on eBay. And coincidentally, as soon as that happens, suddenly they're available everywhere, not just in stores, but online as well.
Yeah, you see, it makes so much sense. When there is too much Switch 2s in stock, and people can easily go to a store and buy it, of course they're gonna go and buy it from a retail store instead of from a scalper that charges like $100 more or so. So yeah, you have to be selling the Switch 2 for $600 or more on eBay in order for you to make a profit of some sort. And it's not much regardless. You are better off selling it for $600 in Facebook Marketplace and then meeting the guy in person to avoid the eBay fees, to avoid the shipping fees and all that good stuff. So I will much rather buy it at $450, sell it in Facebook Marketplace at $550 when it's all sold out, when people are having a hard time finding it, and that's the timing I would use to actually sell that thing in order to make some sort of a profit without eBay taking anything, without the government taking anything, and you stay with the profit. That's how I would do it. Otherwise, don't even bother. That's why scalpers are leaving the Switch 2 market and why the Switch 2 is super easy to get. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'll tell you this. Here in Puerto Rico, I went to a couple Walmarts recently, and there was no Switch 2s in stock. I wonder if it's because they shipped a lot less Switch 2s in Puerto Rico compared to the rest of the US. Let me know in the comment section below if you have been to Walmart recently, or to Target, Best Buy, GameStop, and if they have Switch 2s readily available in stock, no problem. Let me know if that's happening in your area, because in my area, unfortunately, it's still pretty hard to find. I'll tell you that much.
It's almost as if the sales of the Switch 2 were being artificially inflated online because of scalpers. So no, this is not like some hot ticket item that people just can't get enough of. We might see some of these online retailers sell out again, but if they go out of stock, they're going to be back within stock in a couple of days. These things are not hard to find. It's artificial scarcity made by scalpers. I called it right away as soon as it happened. because it didn't make sense that it was so easy to get them in person still, but it was impossible to get them online. Oh, and by the way, we can't judge the actual real player base of the Nintendo Switch 2 by the attach rate of the games, specifically because Mario Kart is the prominent one being used, and that just doesn't count because of the bundle. The majority of consoles sold were the bundle, and the bundle includes Mario Kart, and that counts as a physical sell. I know it's a digital game, but it was sold in a retailer, and it was in a physical box, so it counts as a physical sell of Mario Kart 8 or World. So yeah, Scalpers were counting towards the physical sales of Mario Kart World. Oh, one last thing is this is the $450 bundle here that I did the math on. I felt like that would be more generous than trying to do it for the Mario Kart bundle, because with the Mario Kart bundle, they're going to have to pay even larger fees to Amazon, to eBay and all of them. And I figured...
Yeah, because for the Mario Kart inclusion, it's $500. And of course, you're probably going to be trying to sell it for like $650 to $700 right there. You'll have to sell it at $700 to make some sort of profit probably. Maybe you could get something out of $650. But what's really messed up is that the more money you charge, the more you earn in a sale, the more percentage of the money that you owe to eBay and the government. So the more expensive stuff you sell, the bigger the fees you have to pay back out of that sale. So yeah, it does hurt more if you sell more expensive items, honestly.
Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now.
Rest in peace, Nintendo Switch 2, as this guy has bought every single Nintendo Switch 2 sent to the United States. No, this is a fake AI picture going around saying that scalpers are winning. Look at the scalper. That must have been every Nintendo Switch 2 sent to the United States. This is a fake picture, guys. Don't fall for this. This is clearly AI. At least I hope so. Because if this scalper somehow got, what is that, 500 Nintendo Switch 2 bundles? And got them crammed into his car? Yeah, that's rest in peace Nintendo Switch 2, 100%. But no, I'm pretty sure that this is AI. And this has been going everywhere on the internet for 2 days. But I wanted to address this. I'm pretty sure that's AI, at least I hope so. But what do you guys think about this? Are scalpers winning?
So because it doesn't effectively matter, because if, for instance, they have like scalpers are still buying the Mario Kart bundle, let's say they are doing that, but they're just not buying the $450 one, well, that just means that it's still going to always be in stock. People will just buy this and then buy the Mario Kart game for $80 because it would end up being cheaper than buying it from the bundle from a scalper. So either way, that whatever this sells for, and however much money they're able to make from the $450 one, is just, that's it. Once this drops below it, scalping stops. Scalping is officially stopped. I mean, they're gonna still sell them online, but they're selling at a loss. What I mean by scalping is officially stopped is they're not buying new Nintendo Switches. That's why the digital stores are not selling out anymore, because the scalpers aren't able to make money off of them. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone, and you guys take care of yourself.
Okay, so I am curious to check before we end this video, because honestly, I would say one thing. I want to see proof that I could easily buy a Switch 2 in Best Buy, Target, Walmart, and GameStop websites. Yeah, so I want to do the graphs, and I want to show you like how easy it is. I'm not actually going to buy any of them, obviously. I'm not going to spend any money on Switch 2. Nintendo ain't going to get any of my money because they themselves are selling it way too expensive right now. And then the scalpers just makes it a little bit worse. And yet they're making a loss, so now pretty soon in the near future, we're not going to see much scalping from Switch 2, so it's just Nintendo being scumming now at this point, not just the scalpers. Yeah, can you imagine that? The scalpers made so much more money when they were selling Switch 1s during the pandemic and selling PS5s during the pandemic. Yeah, you remember those days, right? Remember how hard it was to get a PS5 and Nintendo Switch during the COVID pandemic in 2020 and 2021? Well, yeah, that was real hardship right there trying to get a console. But here in Nintendo Switch 2, everything is normal compared to it. The supply chain is very good. Nintendo made sure to stock a living crap out of Switch 2, so the scalpers does not have a chance to take control of the market pretty much. And Nintendo did a good job on that, I'm not gonna lie. And there was so much in stock that the demand kind of like went a little bit down because there were so many people returning the Switch 2s to the stores. Yeah, there's so many people returning it. It's pretty crazy to even think about. So yeah, let's go ahead and check to see if the Nintendo Switch 2 is in different stores online. So we'll be back shortly. Okay, so now we are in all 4 stores that I'm about to show you. So as you can see, GameStop right here apparently sells the Switch 2 for slightly cheaper. $439.99 online. Of course you're gonna have to pay shipping. Of course you're gonna have to pay taxes, so it's gonna be more than that. And then if you're a pro member, you get it for $417 plus tax and shipping. So, you know, you could add it to cart if you want to. I think you could get there. You got the protection. If you want the protection plan, I never do that. So you could proceed to check out and click PayPal. So yeah, I'm not gonna buy it like I said, but I just want to show you that you're able to buy it online, no problem, in GameStop's website. So $471.34. That's not too bad in comparison to buying it from a scalper or buying it in a retail store, which you'll probably have to pay slightly more. Free shipping. Love it. So, yeah, there's with that. Next, we go to Target. So, you can add to cart. Something went wrong and the item was not sent to cart. Maybe it's because they detect that I'm from Puerto Rico and there's no Targets in Puerto Rico. Could be that. But there is a add to cart button, so it could work for you if you're from the US. So if that's the case, yeah, you guys can easily buy Nintendo Switch 2 in Target. Now for Best Buy, so here is not available. But that's probably because I chose the Rio Hondo Mall. So, I don't know. I think that's why. There's probably no Switch 2s in stocks here in Puerto Rico. Because Puerto Rico, they barely have Switch 2s in stock in comparison to the US. So, I just want to let you guys know. I'm pretty sure if you search your own Best Buy, you will probably get this available on your end as well. So that's that. And then we finally go to Walmart, the last one we're gonna test. $453, so it's slightly more expensive. You can add to cart if you want to. No thanks. And you have it added to cart, calculated at checkout. So view cart. I have this here, continue to checkout. I'm not gonna actually buy it. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother with this, but you get the idea. I went through all this. I was able to put it in cart, so that means it's available for me to actually buy it. So that's how easy getting the Switch 2 is. You don't need to buy it from a scalper anymore. You could buy it from GameStop for less than $500. You could buy it from Walmart for less than $500 as well, or around there. So you definitely are getting a much better deal just buying from a retail store now. So yeah, that will be it for the commentary on this video. I hope that you enjoy. Let me know in the comment section below about the scalper situation with Switch 2. Now that scalpers can barely make profit anymore, so scalpers probably not gonna even bother with the Switch 2 going forward. As long as there's a lot of stock, they're gonna wait for the next best thing. And we don't know when there's gonna be the next console launch and how they're gonna handle it. So I guess scalpers are probably gonna move to other things right now, move on to other things out there. Yeah, so before we go, be sure to check out the Angry Guys Rumble if you want to check his videos uncensored. And he does all his live streams there more than on YouTube. He does the first couple minutes on YouTube or the first half hour or so, and then he would go fully on Rumble where he be cursing like a sailor. It's crazy how much he curses there compared to YouTube. Like, we're keeping it clean here because YouTube is a censor station. And then we also have the Angry Crypto Academy, where you could know which cryptocurrency you can invest in the long term. So I have some invested in XRP and BTC, even this coin called ADOM Cosmos, where I'm making staking rewards and I'm making like passive income there a little bit, starting to. So because in a world where you will own nothing and be happy, crypto is a way where you could actually survive upon a world that's coming like that, because you'll be able to own your own digital asset, have full control of your money. The government cannot tell you what you can do with it. So that's why a lot of people are attracted towards it. I hope that you enjoyed that. Check out my channel at Magbo Gaming, where you can see me collecting video games, showing off my video game collection, hunting down video games for my collection that I need, talking about different video game topics, making shorts of different video games that I like to showcase, recommend you guys as well. Yeah, I hope you look forward to that. And I'll see you all in the next one. Magbo out. Peace. Bye-bye.